You may not want to have that door open. There's a meeting next
People
door.
come in and out.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah, we're on. It's, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Board of Selectmen meeting for Monday, June 6, 2016, and we'd like to open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Jason, will you lead us?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First order of business would be the consent agenda for May 23rd, which consists of the meeting minutes of May 23rd, and elder service transportation donation in the amount of $520.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? A couple corrections on the minutes. First paragraph, it starts off, well, the motion, I guess it was. Last part of that motion, it says, Mr. Friel recused himself from the meeting, just recused himself from the vote. And I know it's a small thing, but the highway, page 4, discussion is highway error. Mr. Stewart submitted a notice to the Board of Selectmen announcing an error was made on his part in the cost of shim and overlay. It was actually in the cost of paving the community center parking lot. The shim and overlay price was correct. Any other discussion on the motion?
No, looks good.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Abstentions? 500. Next is the appearance from the Atkinson Garden Club to talk about the National Garden Week.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourselves for the
And we'll
audience,
try and make it short and sweet.
or whatever it takes.
I'm Nina Gray from the Atkinson Garden Club. I'm Hetty Scheitz. And we've both been honored to be made life members of the Atkinson Garden Club because we're about as old as the trees in town. And, but this week, the National Federation of Garden Clubs has declared the National Garden Week. That's countrywide, and it's from June 5th to the 11th. And to celebrate that, we've done two arrangements, one for Town Hall. The one that you see over on my right was done by Jan Snowden, and it celebrates her garden because it has many of her hosta leaves in it and a twisted vine and her irises, but also she went to the store and raided the produce department, and she's got beets and carrots and an artichoke and green peppers and yellow peppers. It's just very fascinating to see what you can do. And the arrangement on my left is very traditional, and it's hosta leaves from Mother Garden and 3 different shades of rhododendron with some sage and red maple leaves. And that's just a traditional design, so you don't have to have a lot of flowers in your garden to be able to do it. Just come to the garden club, we'll teach you how to arrange flowers and work hard in this town. And
Very good.
we really do enjoy taking care of the town.
This one is going to be in the library.
Yeah, this will go in the library.
Oh, very pretty.
So, and that's it, gentlemen, unless you
Tell
have
us
any
more about the
questions.
garden club. What's the garden club do, and when do they meet?
We meet the first Wednesday of every month, except for January and February, because it's snowing. And our main purpose is to beautify the town. And we have a complete committee of, give me the word.
Civic beautification.
Thank you, Civic Beautification Committee. And the chairs get worn out, and after a few years, they give that job up. But all the things you see planted and weeded, from May 1st, we go out and weed the entire town, like the fire station, town hall, in front of the police station, down at the community center. And so if you see flowers planted in pots or containers or gardens being made, you will know that the garden club did it. And we even put little signs out now because people ask us what we do.
And most of our members actually do the watering in the summer.
Yeah.
We have some help, especially around here where David Weymouth fixed the underground system to part of the time. So that's a big help. But it's basically hands that
Yes.
do it.
Empty gallon milk jugs and a lot of water and fertilizer. And so we do that, and then at Christmas time, the holidays, you see the trees and the lights go up on the common. We do those, and we do over at the school, for Mother's Day, we had, 70 students, third graders, and we just took little cans and filled them with what we call oasis. It's a green material that you hold flowers in, and we gave little bouquets to each child and said, here, arrange flowers for your mom. And I thought, oh, this is like kind of messy. And then they walked out with those flowers, 70 children. I thought, isn't this great?
Yes.
That's some of the things we do.
Okay.
The girls do a fantastic job.
And I know that Linda Jetty was in, she's our president this year, last week, speaking about the Daffodil Project, which
Yes.
is to celebrate 2017, our anniversary.
Yes.
So everybody plant daffodils.
And one thing that I figured I will plug, really a thank you, is for Teddy, because he's been helping the club a lot. And anytime we need somebody with a ladder, he's there
Muscles.
digging, and really, it's been very, very nice.
I assume like any club and committee in town, your doors are open to new volunteers?
Oh, yes, we're always open to volunteers.
And the younger the better, right?
The younger the better, male or female. Anybody that has muscles. If you don't, you get signed to making food.
And around here, if you come in and out, and if you recognize poison ivy, and it is all around, feel free to take it out anytime.
I don't think so.
Teddy's very good for that. He doesn't catch poison ivy. He helped us last year, so.
Lucky.
So I don't want to take up any more of your valuable
else have
time.
any questions?
So,
No, thank you very much.
Thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
in.
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate your
Thank you.
decorations.
Thanks, girls.
Yeah.
Say hi to your son, Nina.
I will. I'll be glad to. Thanks. I'll move back to the light here.
Next, we have a couple of appointments.
Yeah, this should be, you should have two of them there. One is for the Zoning Board of Adjustments, and we have Robert Connors to fill an appointment that'll expire in 2018, and the other was for another appointment on the Technology Committee for 1 year, which would expire in 2017.
Okay. Everyone had a chance to look at those? If so, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to appoint Robert Connors to the ZBA for 2 years to expire in April 2018, and David Ferris, Technology Committee, 1 year term to expire April 2017.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Oh, I'll second, I'm sorry. I didn't know you-
I apologize, you may have had something in front in your book, but they might have been out of order, so, in the old business section.
All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? 500.
Thank you.
Next, under old business, anything new under the Elder Service Schedule Coordinator position?
No, we did get one other application in, and you had set the appointment for next week to make whatever you're going to do, or make whatever decision you're going to make next week, so we'll have those to you. There'll be obviously Jennifer, the one who, she is currently filling in based on the motion last week. She's filling in actually on Mondays and Thursdays, which was all she could do. And come next week, whatever you decide to do, we'll go forward.
Yes, Jason.
Now, Jennifer was interviewed and screened by Jean in advance,
Yes,
right?
yes.
What do you recommend in terms of interviewing and screening, and doing some checking on the other applicant before next week.
I want to check it out myself, along with talking with Jennifer some more, so.
Gene. Oh, you're gonna talk to Jennifer?
Yeah,
some more. We're gonna have
Jennifer some
Gene
more.
review that other one as well? You have one more applicant?
Yes, one more applicant, yes.
Okay, and then when's the deadline?
The deadline is actually, I think it was the middle of next week, if I'm not mistaken, the Wednesday, I think it was, we set. I'd have to look
The
back at
application
notes.
deadline, I think, is
The application
passed.
deadline.
Yeah, it's passed.
I thought that, I think that's passed, the application deadline, but I could be wrong.
I'll double check it, I can double
Because I
check.
think it was anticipated that we would make a decision next week, so it
Next
would have
week,
had
yeah.
to have closed,
That's correct.
yeah.
Okay.
So
I'll
you,
double-
yourself, and I think Ted had a shot at it too, right, last night?
Well, Ted Houlihan gets involved in the
Yeah.
discussion process,
and
yes.
Gene,
Yeah, I spoke to Ted, he picked it up yesterday.
Great.
So between the three of you, you'll have a recommendation for us next week?
Yes.
Next, school zone sign, Leroy Ave, that's gonna go to the highway safety, right?
Yeah, although Ted has gone ahead, and I spoke to him, and he's gone ahead and ordered a slow school zone sign to put up there.
Makes sense.
He thinks it makes sense,
Yeah.
and just do it and get it over with.
It's okay with me.
I mean, we can still go to the Highway Safety Committee, and if they want to go to the state to try and get them to put a lit
Flashing
sign.
light or something?
Flashing sign, that's okay too. But in the interim,
Well, that's not a state road, that's a town road.
If I can,
no,
just-
but Academy, I'm saying if they wanted to put it up closer.
Oh, I see.
Mr. Chairman, if I can go back to the previous subject, he's absolutely correct. June 13th is when we said close of applications for that position, for the,
June 13th, close applications?
yeah, for Elder Services Schedule Coordinator position.
That's in our minutes from last meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Mr. Chairman.
No, it's perfect. No problem. So that's the school zone, sign. High Hill Tower, anything update on that?
Yeah, actually, at 5 o'clock this evening, I got a email from Rick Sousa letting me know that he had heard from the corporate office of SBA Towers, and they are going to approve it, and that hopefully we'll get the check for the accrual next week sometime.
Okay,
So we'll be able to move forward with that.
very good. We have a couple of open positions in town. How are we going about advertising?
Yeah, I haven't gotten anywhere with the assistant bookkeeper and the code enforcement officer, to be honest with you. I'm still looking, although I'm trying to wrap up some things that are outstanding that I'd like to get wrapped up. One of the things, you may have seen a note relative to Mason, which we took to file through the courts. As a result, we got a check for $2,100 like a couple days later. And it was through Jim that we actually found out the fact that we were owed the court costs from the settlement of the case. So instead of them owing us $15,000, they owed us $22,200. So it was through his memory of the court case, which came in handy, so. And he's working on a number of things, so seems to be doing good, but his goal is still to be replaced.
Okay. So what do we do, well, I guess you brought up the Mason thing. Can we talk about that more? Is there a plan in place for him to get current?
Well, the plan was, and that's why we went to court, was to get him to get current.
Are we still going to court?
He had been way behind. Yeah, the plan is still to keep it on the docket.
Okay.
Okay. He's paid $2,100 of the, I think it was $2,600 he was behind. So he's still behind another $500 from the schedule from where he should be.
Okay.
So,
It's actually 900 if you look at the
was
schedule.
it 900? I don't have it in front of
So,
me,
so when, if I may,
Good.
when do we say, honestly, when do we say enough's enough
Well,
on this issue, particular issue? Because this has been going back for,
not much you can do about it.
well, I
No,
think,
but-
I think we can, actually. I'll be honest
We
with you.
filed to take.
Well,
to go
you-
We're in
court.
court now over it, right?
Yeah.
Right, but I
Yeah,
would
no,
say
the
that.
filing is in.
Right, I understand that, but now I say, let's say, this is what we're looking, when we go to court, have our lawyers say, this is what we're looking for now. Something that's got to be more enforced, because obviously, over the years, he has not complied.
It's 8 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, nothing had been done for the last, till when I came on, I found that the determination was not to do anything before, because it was only $400 or $600. And so then they said, well, wait till it, gets up a little. Well, next thing I knew, it was over 2,000, which is when I got involved.
But just to Mr. Baldwin's point, I think right now we're exactly where you want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
I
just
think
wanna make sure that
the
we-
rubber's hit the road at this point.
No, yeah.
Not different than the one up at the lake. Something's filed in court, we're done goofing around.
Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Also at the lake.
Also at the lake, right.
Yes.
That is clear that we are still taking it to court, even though we paid some. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Next is over expenditure for the fire department, that discussion. You wanted to talk
Yeah,
about that some?
just, I did follow up on what you people had asked last week, and that was to meet with a few people. I met with, not met, but I had conversations with Tony or Jerry, and he said that basically to see whether himself or somebody else he could recommend would be the person to talk to, and he said it's something that's in his ballpark, that he could certainly handle it. He gave me a range of what it would probably cost just to, I explained to them the documents that we had, the situation as it related to the fact that we had gotten a previous ruling from Sumner and the like, and the 1944 warrant article and all of that. And so he said it would probably cost somewhere in the $1,000, $2,000 range to go through the whole process, to just look at it and come back with what he thought would be he didn't think it was a big deal to come back with some sort of a recommendation. I took the liberty of just reaching out to NHMA to see if in fact their legal department, what their thoughts were. I sent them the documents. They came back and their feeling was pretty much along the lines of what the chief said. I spoke today with Bart Mayer from Salem, who handled the case for the selectmen in Salem, and he's done work for us previously. I think he handled the conflict of interest, if I'm not mistaken. And had a good conversation with him. His feeling in general was that it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't type situation, from a perspective of, are you going to win the battle or not, or what are you really trying to accomplish type thing. He said that he could look at it and probably for $500, $750 or so, do an analysis. If I sent him all the documentation, I explained everything. I probably was on the phone with him for quite a while. Glad he wasn't billing me. And he basically said, though, his feeling was very much that there have been a lot of laws that have changed since 1944 that in effect probably make that somewhat mute. And that he says in a worst case scenario, there are certainly some things in place where there's some RSAs and the like where the selectmen probably could put a warrant forward to do something in the future. But again, he said it's one of those things, is it worth for what you're trying to accomplish? It's up to you people.
Phil?
I'll go back to what I said last time we met. The fire department's been running fine since 1944 with no problems at all. I don't see why we should jump in. He doesn't overexpend his bottom line, and to get in there to micromanage. He's got a document. It's been fine so far. Why reinvent the wheel? Just let the fire department do their thing the way they've been doing it for quite a few years.
Jason?
I do take offense at the repeated suggestion that for us to fill out what's our fiduciary responsibility as elected selectmen in this town, that is an act of micromanaging to question. I heard micromanage come up a number of times last week. It's come up again. I don't think it's micromanaging in the least. There's undoubtedly been a question that's existed in this town for years that, other than being questioned from time to time, has not been challenged, has not been put out for review. And because every single time that the issue's been questioned, I've got this document that 14 people decided on back in 1944. And that's why I put the issue forward. I think well, I didn't put it forward, Mr. Friel put it forward, but I think it's an important issue to straighten out once and for all. And it shouldn't be taken, and for me to vote in favor of it was not a reflection on the fire department. We've got a responsibility when it comes to the finances. And if we're going to not be clear, or we're just going to go with the past practice of the way that things have always gone for the fire department, and what we in prior boards have allowed to happen over an extended period of time, then maybe we should start extending that to other agencies in town and let them do whatever they want as far as finances go.
A rebuttal to that is our main concern is what our fiduciary duty is, to make sure that this town runs on a bottom line budget. It's the town's overall bottom line, and it's the department head's job to make sure that his line at the bottom does not get overexpended. If it gets overexpended, hey, now we got a problem. We got to get in and find out, how did you manage to spend more money than what you were given? As far as I know, in all the years that I've been around, the fire department has never overexpended their bottom line. Why are we spending money to go out and say, yes, we're going to change that? He's still going to operate it the way it is.
Mr. Chairman. Yeah. So based on the vote we made last week, I'd make a motion that we put it out to the gentleman you just talked about, the attorney, not to exceed $750 to get a clear vision of where we are based on what we did last week, and just continue with that process.
That's the Bart Mayor at Upton Hatfield. Seconded.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any more discussion on the motion?
Could I just make one other comment?
Sure.
Is it allowed? I mean, I'm not part of
No,
the
not
vote.
really.
I'm not
No,
part
not
of the
really.
board. It's up
Go
to
ahead,
the.
Mr. Chairman.
No, I just wanted to make one comment, and that was that, without talking as it related to the fire department itself, I will say that I had other departments come in the very next morning to me complaining, saying, hey, listen, we manage our budget too very well. So that was the only other comment that I.
So,
And they probably do manage the budget very well, yeah.
so I think, again, consistency, right? And I think that was spoken to last time, but consistency across the board. It's not about the individuals or individual department heads. It's about the budgets for each department that we are fiscally responsible for. We are. At the end of the day, we are. So they go over, yeah, they can get in trouble for it, but at the end of the day, we're responsible for it. So I think this is a good idea, and that we move forward with this. I'm in favor of that.
Probably not on topic, but it's kind of being discussed at the same time. Yes, we're responsible for the budget and how money's spent. We also have a lot of intelligent managers working for us that can do a really good job of spending the money. And I think we need to rely on our managers to do that, to have them come in and spend a lot of extra time doing paperwork and ahead of time to spend an extra $1,000 in one line because they're going to take it out of this other line, is not necessarily productive. They have things to do. So I can see, I see your points, but at the same time, when you have a manager, you let the manager run his department or his part of the town.
I think we agree with
do
you
a
on
good
that
job.
part. I think we agree with you on that part.
Really,
That
what we're talking about is allowing him to do his good job and not having to come in here ahead of time and say, yeah, I'm going to go spend an extra $500 in this line, but it's going to come out of this line. Go do it, and then let us know about it. I think that's what the intention was originally, but that's neither here nor there. I think this is for $750, it's probably a good way to spend $750 to get another opinion. I'm good with that. We're at that point.
What will you gain if this lawyer comes back and says that article that was in the warrant article in 1944 is no longer valid? What have we accomplished?
Well, I guess to Jason's point, when he says you want to believe something that has 14 signatures on it, 1944, well, I still hold true to the Constitution when it was written and signed. So it doesn't matter when it was signed. Even 1944, the Constitution, it still holds up. So we can see.
But what are we going to accomplish? If the lawyer comes back and says, this piece of paper from 1944 with 14 signatures on it is null and void, what have we accomplished?
We
And
gotta-
what will be different?
Well, no,
Clean
something
it up,
different.
because you can't keep functioning on something that's invalid. You just can't keep letting it go if it's illegal and doesn't work. So what you do is you figure out what the consequences are, and you clean it up. Whether it's Board of Selectmen, town meeting, you clean it up.
So you clean it up, what are we accomplishing? What is gonna be different from the fire department when we say this?
We don't know yet, Phil. Until we have that answer, we don't know. Because what does it mean if it's not valid? He's gonna have to tell us, well, this vote wasn't valid, or this doesn't still hold true.
Right.
But here's why, and then you have
This
to
is
follow
what
the
you
law.
do.
At that point, you gotta follow the law.
Yeah.
That's all I'm
In
saying.
that signature, those 14 signatures, it also includes that the fire department has adopted a board of engineers, which basically runs the fire department inside. So you're gonna say that the board of
That
engineers
could very well
now
hold up.
is gonna be disbarred?
No, we're not
No.
saying that at all.
That's what, some of the RSAs, the way, in the discussion that Bart had with me today, and I don't have them all in front of me, some of them had to do with the fact that while the associations may in fact still be very, very much valid, the fact of the matter is that the usurping the control of the selectmen is the issue at question, and that some of the later RSAs supposedly may have changes to that. They have
I looked it up, I don't have it with me, I should
I
have
know we
brought it.
talked about it, yeah.
But there is, you look at the RSA that refers to the fire departments, how you can how you can set the department up. The way this department is set up, you can set it up that way still today, so.
Yeah, it can be set up.
You can have an association and run, they
Right.
manage their own stuff and everything, just like it
The
is.
association is separate from the board of engineers. Board of engineers are made up of, I don't know, probably 6 or 7
The board of
of the
engineers.
high-ranking.
The Board of Engineers, what they meant.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, the Board of Engineers. The association they have, that's totally on the different
Correct,
side.
correct.
The Board of Engineer makes sure that everything is done properly, and everything has to go before a vote before it's done.
Sure.
I'm just saying is that, I'm just hoping that by changing this, you're not going to banish
I don't think we're necessarily
the
changing
Board of
anything.
Engineers.
We're not changing anything at this point.
No. But there is an issue, I think, going back to what you said earlier, is that nobody's looking to banish anything. But the bottom line is you have taxpayers' dollars funding a department. That's where this big picture comes into play. And how is that operated, that money? You know what I mean? Who's responsible? What he's saying is that right now, it seems like it circumvents the selectmen. They get a pot of money, they can do whatever the heck they want to do with it, without any oversight, period.
Or check on.
Or check on it.
Once it passes the voters, that's it.
Yeah,
And
bam.
then,
It's out of your hands.
If they want to go out and buy something for $5,000, they still have to go out and follow the rules the way the rest of the town is.
According to right now, no, that's not true.
No, they don't.
Association's not bound by that.
Right. And that's
I
what
mean,
we're trying to
if
We
clear.
are, but they are not.
if they have a $300,000 budget, I'm completely making this up, and the $300,000 budget includes $250,000 worth of salaries, if they want to, they could turn around and spend $200,000 and go buy a major piece of equipment and cut all the way back on their salaries and the number of employees they have staffed.
vice versa.
And as that exists, we don't have any say in that process. Maybe the law is good, and maybe the 1944 thing is good and says, still to this day, you don't have any say in that process. But I think that's what we're trying to figure out.
All right, you made a motion, it's been seconded, why don't we just take a vote on it and get rid of it?
Well, you gonna move the motion? All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Opposed?
Motion passes 4-1.
Sure, by the way. Hey, there we go.
Any other old business while we're on old business?
I had one thing, and that is you had asked me to follow up relative to the cost of the striping of the community center parking lot.
Yep.
And Teddy told me that it's be approximately about $500. There were no engineering costs involved or anything. The people that, when they laid out the other lots, did the layout for the community center. So it'll be about $500, and he has it in the budget.
He has it in the budget?
Yeah.
What's your last name?
You guys done? Sorry. All right, we don't need to approve that, or do we? I don't think we need to approve
They
that.
just
We
asked
do,
me to-
where's it coming from? Does he have money somewhere to
In his
pour it?
Got it
budget.
in his budget.
Has it in his budget.
There's no need.
Yeah, tell him to get it done.
No. back in that article, back in that.
Already talked.
44.
Tell them to get it.
So there's no engineering cost for the striping,
Yep.
and they have a layout that works with the
Yep.
handicap accessibility, all that fun stuff.
Yep.
All right.
Tell them to get it done.
Okay.
Any other old business?
I got one.
Yes, Phil.
I don't know if you had spoken to me, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
You're not interrupting me.
Okay, thank you. It's, I think we've spoken, Alan, but I'm not sure, and if we had, to get it out in the open here so as that the individual that had a concern will know that we did do something on it. The tree down on Sawyer Avenue with a big hole in the middle. What's up with that now?
I spoke with Teddy again on it. He said that he was gonna go down and talk to, by the way, I met Mrs. Kiley, so I now know where she lives, Pat.
That's good.
Actually, I knew her from the library. I just didn't associate the Sawyer Avenue part. But Ted said that he would go and speak to the neighbors again, that the tree is on, the property that it's on, to see if in fact what they wanted to do with it.
It's definitely not on town property. All right, well, you'll give us a feedback on what Teddy has to say then?
Yep.
Any other old business? New business, we have area Board of Selectmen meeting. Anyone plan on attending? It's June 14th?
Yeah, you should have a
July
notice
14th.
relative to it.
July.
Oh, July 14th.
Yeah, you should have a notice in your new business
I'll be
folder
there.
relative to it, so.
I'll be there.
One, anybody else?
I'll plan to be there also.
2, 3? Okay. We'll put it down for 4.
Who was the full, can you
Can you send
Everybody
out a
but Mr.
calendar
Friel.
thing?
Yeah.
Thank you.
But everybody but Mr. Friel. To the meeting.
Oh,
That can't make that, right?
He's busy.
14th?
Yeah.
He never knows
Busy.
where.
July,
14th?
July 14th.
You in town?
Huh?
You in town?
He's busy.
Oh.
All
put us
five,
down.
all five will be
Put you
there.
down and we can always interchange.
If you do the calendar
You coming
invite,
too, Alan?
Huh? I'm probably gonna try.
There will be not more than 5 of us there.
Sandown serves good cookies.
I didn't know I could go to the last one. This one I'm
Yeah, you can
invited
go.
to, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I didn't know.
so 5 and a P.
5 and a P.
Scratch that from the minutes. Yeah, please do. 5 and a P.
Any other new business?
I just have one, if I could. I'd like to make a comment because I'd heard quite a bit from people who came in, comments about the cemetery, how nice it was really looking, and for the holiday, and I'm sure it's like that all the time, but I went over Friday night and looked at it and drove through, and it was kind of, peaceful at night, and I said, boy, this is beautiful. I didn't go all the way through it. And I went back on Saturday, and I was so impressed that I told my wife, and she made me go back on Sunday, and then she had my son go. That's how impressed she was with it. So to the crew who takes care of the cemetery, I mean, they did a phenomenal job. We actually had 2 people come in today and compliment on it.
Very nice.
And,
Can I piggyback up?
especially the carnations that they
Yep.
put for the veterans
Yeah.
was a very nice touch.
There are a lot of people impressed. Unfortunately, I get the privilege of hearing people talk when they're at the cemetery, because it's right behind me. So a lot of people are visiting there.
Out of the
and
grave?
Not out of the grave, but there are a lot of people that visit there, and I hear comments of people impressed, how clean it is, how neat it is, how beautiful it looks, and the respect that we have for that whole area. And I think that's a good thing. That's kudos to the folks, hard-working folks in that cemetery.
Bo Patudo and Mrs. Friel have done a fantastic job up there. The cemetery, I go in there quite frequently. That cemetery has not looked that good in a long, long time.
Yeah, and Marge, the
Yeah.
worker there also,
We
too.
admired.
Marge does a great job, the
Pick your
worker.
plot.
A deep one, too. Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
She does do a good job.
Jason, you had something?
It's on new business?
Yes.
You'll all remember, and actually, we mentioned it in passing today, the suit we ended up filing in Superior Court about the overdue payments by the Osbornes. And then, as part of the court's decree, they were to pay the first of every month thereafter. I know that we ended up having to send out a letter as of late that the first of the month came and went with nothing, and I just wanted to check with the town administrator about, we're at June 6th, and has the June payment been made yet?
No, not as of today.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Oh,
Do you have a question from the audience? You come up, introduce yourself.
My name is Leonard Hall, Winslow Drive, Atkinson. I'm not on anybody's agenda, but I was hoping I could maybe have some conversation about some new business for the town.
You come to the right person, you get all the conversation you want.
Subject matter?
Subject matter is the potential to put a town clock on Dow Common.
Okay. Let's hear about it.
We're in kind of a unique situation for 2017, whereas the town is going to celebrate their 250th. Your local Lions Club is going to celebrate their 40th birthday, and Lions International is going to celebrate their 100th birthday. So they've kind of Lions has kind of given me the task of coming up with what they're calling a legacy project, something that benefits the town, but recognizes the anniversaries of the Lions Club as well as the town, all at the same time if possible. So I decided that a great project, at least from my perspective to come up with, would be to put a clock, some sort of I'm sure you've seen them. I've got some pictures that I could hand around. You can keep these. I can certainly reproduce some more of a couple of ideas about a clock that would be nice if it was placed on Main Street, with a dial facing north and the dial facing south. It would be a lit face. Certainly, there'd be a lot of conversation between the Lions Club and you folks about how we would decorate it, whether we'd put Atkinson on it, whether or not we'd put a big line in the middle of it, whether or not we'd have town established dates on it. There'd certainly be some sort of a plaque somewhere on it that would recognize that it was a donation to the town from the Lions Club, recognizing our 100th and 40th birthdays and the town's 250. There's a lot to jam into a few minutes here to try and get some feedback as to whether or not I can go to the next level, depending on what that next level is. But I'm assuming that I'd need somebody's permission to go further about placing a clock on Dow Common. I mean, I'm not going to go out there and start digging a hole and put it out there. So I'm not sure what that next step might be. It might be as simple as you guys saying, go for it. It might be more complicated than that. So I need a little bit of direction from you as to what I should do next, if anything. If it's a dead issue, it's a dead issue, but I certainly hope it is not.
Lenny, you should let them know that you're the president of the Lions Club, Atkinson Lions Club.
I'm the president-elect of the Lions Club, official a week ago or so.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So Lenny, something that pops in my head, Jason wants to make a comment, but something that pops in my head right away is that there's a state right-of-way there, so I imagine you're going to keep that back away from the state right-of-way.
Yes.
Okay. Jason?
I'm not sure what that is exactly, Harold, but
Yeah.
but I'll
It
follow
should be
directions.
somewhere in the ballpark of 25 feet, but we can, get a survey to make sure.
From the center of the road, 25 feet either way.
Yep.
Jason?
That's a fantastic idea. The diagrams look great, would fit right into the feel of the common, and you'll have my full support the whole way through. I think it's a great undertaking you guys have taken up.
Thank you.
Mr. Ball?
I make a motion that we go ahead and approve the Atkinson Lions Club to go forward with this clock project and just keep us in the loop.
I'll second that, this conversation being that we just need to get, before it goes in, what it looks like and where it's gonna be, so we can do the final sign.
I think we all should be able to stand out there and look at this location and.
But
Absolutely.
100% support.
And
Kind of an initial okay to
Absolutely,
move forward.
move
is it?
forward.
Yeah.
I would certainly welcome, I'm no artist when it comes to designing a clock, so.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I mean, I take recommendations from the people that manufacture it. They're located right in Medfield, Mass. They do this stuff for other towns. There's several of them around us. There'll be a power requirement. I know there's power on the common, so it'd be a matter of, us getting an electrician to bring it over, and it would operate off one of those photocells that goes on the top of it so that it lights up after dark and
That's great.
something like that. So,
Very nice.
This one here, the 2-dial Howard Lodge.
yep.
What's interesting about that, it has the GPS satellite synchronization, so it keeps it up to date for you, so you don't have to mess
Time-wise.
with it. Yeah. That's awesome, and it's LED, so it saves on power.
That's a pretty big clock. That's a 16-foot tall clock, too. That's, if anybody here gets down to Groveland, Groveland Center has a Howard large-face clock just like that, except it's four-faced. That's the only difference, and I think a four-face clock wouldn't be right on the common.
No.
But it'll give you an idea of the scale of, of what it will look like. So I don't know that it matters to us whether we get the large clock, which is 16 feet, or the smaller clock, which is 12 and change. It's going to be a matter of what's going to look best for the town. So colors will need to be picked out, all that kind of stuff.
Lenny, could I ask you to sit in that other seat there? Because that flower completely obstructs you. People.
Why do you think I sat here, Chief?
Oh, I don't.
That's not true. That's not true.
So we have a motion on the floor, sir.
Yeah, we're just still discussing, I think.
And I second for discussion. So
Yeah.
we're good.
Yeah. Any other comments on the discussion? I just like to say I think it's a fantastic idea, Lenny. You taking donations for this, or are you guys going to pay for it yourself, or why are you doing it?
The funding needs to be worked out. I mean, it isn't going to cost the town any money.
Right.
It's going to be a combination of Lions dollars and private donation dollars that'll get this done. The numbers are not crazy. It's a very doable project, and when I call the folks, they indicated it takes about 12 to 15 weeks to produce the clock once the diagram and everybody decides what it's going to look like. So, I mean, I'd like to make it part of our 250th ceremony next year.
Yeah.
Get it in a week or two before.
Dedicate
And skin it too close, and then make as big a deal out of it as we can for both the Lions and the town.
Fantastic.
That's great.
That's the time frame on it. Very good.
You gotta make sure we get a tag on there that says
Yeah, you're right.
by the Atkinson Lions Club.
This
Not
is-
like the one we're still waiting for over at the observation station.
This
They
is an
never put
inside.
up.
This is an inside joke. So
I kind of gathered that.
Sure, it's hysterical.
Yeah. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
That's unanimous.
thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Lenny.
sir.
You can keep those, and I'll keep you posted. Thank you.
That's great, Lenny.
Thanks, Lenny.
You bet.
That's nice. That's a nice thing.
Yeah.
Any other new business for anybody?
Nope.
Oh,
Oh, crap.
I think we have a scheduled meeting for next week.
We do.
We do.
Yes,
Is there a sense whether we need to have a meeting next week?
sure.
We got to approve
I knew you'd say that.
Well, we need to make a decision on our coordinator.
their appointment.
You have a conflict.
Well, you said the application deadline's the 13th, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to appoint somebody the same day the application deadline
We were
closes?
hoping to do it, yeah.
Have the background all done and everything.
Unless someone
come
comes in at the
there.
last minute, but I thought we were shooting for that. I think,
That's why
I think
thought
we-
it was
we were
Wed-
shooting
I thought
for
it-
that.
I think the deadline was
I thought it was
advertised.
Wednesday. The
We were gonna make
advertisement
a
was
decision on
Wednesday,
that
if I'm not
Our
mistaken.
plan was to make a decision.
I thought it was Wednesday.
It said the Board of
I think-
Selectmen gave a deadline of June 13th to collect applications.
Yeah.
But I think
it's
that
fine.
June 13th, I think we were talking about it had to be that date. We were talking about that before we put this person in temporarily.
If I go back, I'm almost,
I'm-
almost positive
right.
that, it was the Wednesday, and then you were gonna vote on it on
So you
Monday.
don't want to meet next week, you want to not meet the week after, because it's
Well,
scheduled the week off?
The problem you have, and I can appreciate, the problem you have with Jennifer, if she is the one, okay, is that she's kind of caught between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, she
And
needs
that
to know.
she has to give a notice to her job, and we've set her out,
Right,
you know.
we've already done that.
It's, that's the only thing.
Yeah, make it next
We're
week.
short. We just- you know.
So 5:30 meeting next Monday? Nice
wanna
and
meet
quick,
early?
in and out?
We can meet earlier.
Yeah.
Can you meet earlier?
Sure, I can meet earlier.
Not, I
get earlier.
don't get out till 6, but
So you want to meet at 6:15?
yeah, 6:15 sounds
Does
good.
that work for everybody?
Is it gonna be televised?
It doesn't need to be televised.
Yeah, well, they'll know what
Well,
we're
the
doing.
rest of us can meet at 7:30 if you want to come back, Phil, if there's something to do.
No, I think that we just should make it, we've discussed this, putting in the person down at the community center, we ought to let the public know what the
A lot of times
outcome
we
is.
discuss these people.
Well, you can bring her back to introduce her in the following week,
We
or
can
if
meet
whoever it
Meet at
is.
6:15 to discuss it, and we can have a regular meeting at 7:30 and announce whatever we did. How's that?
6:30, Mr. Chairman, that's more doable.
6:30?
Can you? Is that okay?
6:30?
Great.
Thank
So
you.
we're gonna meet next Monday at 6:30.
We're meeting Monday at
Yeah,
6:30,
just for that discussion.
just for that discussion. So
And
there's
do
no
we-
televised meeting then.
No, but then do you want to meet that night too? No? You'd be okay with
I
it?
don't wanna,
We can announce it the next meeting we have.
I just don't wanna spend the money if we don't have to bring them out for an hour.
Sounds good to me.
Right.
Okay.
And I can handle the minutes if you don't need to.
You got a night, Monday night off?
Since I'm going to the Great Wolf Lodge anyway.
Even better. There we go.
All right, any other new business?
no, I'll make a motion, we adjourn at 8,
We do the future dates first?
oh, you wanna do that?
You wanna do it?
Sure.
Say I was gonna have a heart attack. That was before 10.
Okay, on the 9th. This is gonna be a good one, I guess. The concert in the Courtyard, the award-winning songwriter Kurt Bassett and vocalist Jen Kurtz is 6:30, Lighthouse Cruise on the 14th, and dinner, leave the community center at 8:30 and return at 9 p.m. And on the 15th, library summer reading kickoff, 6:30 to 7:30, Toe Jam Puppet Band, registration required.
Are you in that one?
Courtyard. Right next to you. Concert in the Courtyard, 6:30 to 8 p.m. Joyce Anderson and Harvey Reid, acoustic music,
So the first one you read is this Thursday. It's coming right up.
the 9th.
Yep. Very good.
Hey, figured that out, that's great. On the 9th.
Yep. So you're not going, oh, that's, never mind. All right, I'll take that motion you started a minute ago.
All right, take a motion to adjourn at 8:18.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
All right.
All right.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned.